Marcus, talk about why we get multiple expert support before filing a lawsuit. Just spoke offline with the family that has a case falling apart now because they can't get an expert on board. That was a video posted on, that was a comment posted on one of my other videos by my partner, Renee, and it really underscores how serious this issue can be. A case can start off with a lot of hope, but if the right experts aren't secured before the lawsuit is filed, that same case in some instances can quietly fall apart later. For parents who have a baby diagnosed with HIE and possibly a later CP diagnosis or other types of brain injuries, I know how hard it can be to understand this part of the process. You're waiting, you want answers, and you're dealing with everything. But what's happening behind the scenes in these early stages is what can determine whether your case is going to be able to survive down the road in some instances. Now, I want to be clear, each state can have their own expert requirements for filing a medical malpractice lawsuit. I'm not diving into those filing rules and procedural things here. This video is about the approach that we take and why we have found this to be the most reliable way for us to be able to protect families. Before we file a birth injury case, we work to have support from three main types of experts. Standard of care experts who will review what the doctors and the nurses did during labor and delivery. Causation experts who help connect the medical errors to the baby's brain injury, and damages experts who will explain the lifelong impact of the injury. When we have these opinions before filing a lawsuit, we know we've got the main elements of negligence supported, and that's going to matter because if a lawsuit is filed first and the right experts can't later be secured, the defense can move for something called a summary judgment, which in these types of instances can end the case before it ever even reaches a jury. And that's why we take our time on the front end. I've talked to mothers and families who've told me that during this investigation stage, it can sometimes feel like nothing is happening. But behind the scenes, there's a lot going on. Medical records are being reviewed. Fetal heart tracings are being analyzed. Specialists are weighing in. All of that groundwork is what gives your family's case strength later down the line. And going back to the comment that Renee made on my other video, she's describing a family in another case that's not connected to us that's now struggling because the experts were not secured before filing. That's the type of heartbreak that we try to avoid. When a case is built without that solid foundation, it can crumble when defense experts start challenging and poking around missing experts. There's another reason why we also do this. During deposition, if you've got an experienced and savvy defense lawyer, they might ask your experts, especially standard of care experts, when they first got involved in the case. They're using those types of questions to suggest that the expert opinion might not necessarily be their own if they entered that case after the lawsuit began. By involving these experts early, we make sure that their opinions are independent and are supported early by the medical record from the start of everything. So yes, this part of the process, it can feel slow. It can test you and your family's patience, but it's also one of the most protective steps for your baby's case. Other lawyers, they may handle all of this differently, and that's fine. For us though, securing expert support before filing the lawsuit has proven to be the best and most reliable approach for us. Again, I'm Marcus Boston. If you have any other questions about your baby's HIE brain injury at birth or a subsequent CP diagnosis or other types of brain injuries from a medical legal standpoint, don't hesitate to reach out and contact us. You can find out more information about me in my profile. If you're watching this video on certain apps, you can send me a DM and we could chat a little bit about your baby story, or you could just wait and watch the picture that follows the end of this video. All right, that's going to be it for today's short educational video. Have a good day, everybody.